Alright, so the build is finally complete, my paludarium build. Look, my little buddies are out. I only got like 3 neon tetras in there and like I think 3 or 4 of my albino bristle noses. You know what, let's just start off with the bottom. I watch a lot of MD fish tanks and I really like his waterscapes. They just look beautiful, so I followed his API setup. Greek waterfall, it's spouting out. I gotta figure out a way to diffuse that. But from Amazon, as you can see, I got like some clear rocks and a flat slate rock. Amazon sword and oh, of course I can't remember this one now. I'm drawing a blank. Whatever. Some aquatic plants. We'll leave it at that for now. Thank God my local pet store actually had both aquatic animals and plants. So I didn't have to rely on Amazon because Amazon's not very good at that and doesn't have a very good selection. But they also have driftwood, which is not a very good selection either, but I think that's Malaysian driftwood. Learned my lesson on that one. It likes to produce a nice little white moldy film thing before I put my fish in there, and good thing I caught that when I did. So boiled it 20 minutes. This is my first ever build ever, so I was just kind of learning by trial and error. Aqua soil on the bottom, then of course you've got the sand up top. I've got the fake vine here in the bottom, and it goes all the way up so that if he falls in, which my Crested Gecko lives in here now, which they can swim, that's why I picked it, but if he falls in, he's got that to climb all the way back. I mean, it's in here to multiple things, it's not just sitting there, so put any weight on it, he's not just gonna like rip it out and fall down back down into the water. Now, if you can't tell, this has a waterfall system, and I've used nothing but Zoomed with the Zoomed Paludarium. With that being said, the Zoomed Paludarium filter, which usually just kind of has like a small clear piece or their own little devices to kind of blow movement in like a 90-degree direction. And you can kind of pick and choose whichever direction you want. Now, obviously, I have the Zoomed water heater. It's set to 79, I guess. It's supposed to have been 78. I'll reset it again. But it's been doing a phenomenal job keeping the water at the right temperature. And it has a fan in there that kind of flows the water in this direction. And then the filter pulls. So you kind of get, well, as you can see, it just kind of gently flows along with the waterfall itself. Now, the paludarium filter, you go to Home Depot and you get like a roll of this stuff. It's a 1/2 inch clear rubber, like PVC rubberized silicone hose. They sell it in multiple different sizes. What you're going to need though is 1/2 inch, and this ran it all the way up the top. And it come right out the top, and it actually comes with a 90-degree, which is what I use. I use a hard black plastic 90-degree that comes with the Zoomed Paludarium filtration kit, and then kind of just cut it off as I needed to and covered it with moss. Could have done better covering that up, but again, this is my first total build. So with that being said, the plants are focus. The plants are too close to the top, too close to the side. There's not one in there because it's too aggressive. The pot is. So it kind of puts, what I did to make up for that is I put my ivy and let it dangle down, which has a root system hanging down, as you can tell here. And I put some wandering Jew in there. I know, it's 2 little leaves, tiny little bit of soil, but I promise you, if you know anything about wandering Jews, but if you don't know anything about wandering Jews, they wander and they get big and they go everywhere. I.e., my day gecko's little. What are you doing, Fred? Yeah, that's my Zoomed waterfall kit that I use the Exoterra Aztec head and some cork bark. And obviously some background stuff. This is actually one of the display tanks at Exotic Envy's reptiles. And he didn't need it anymore. Gave it to one of the employees. She was a friend of mine. And she took in both of my day geckos. They were fighting each other, so we had to split them up. So I got Fred, and I built him this out of the background was what was left. So back to this one. Yeah. Now with this closed, the humidity goes down, believe it or not, and I'll show you why. bam, my gaming PC 120 millimeter cooling fan. It's just the basic one that came with the kit, or the case that I bought. I have a Spec D case from Corsair, bought it a couple years ago, and now I have the RGB 120 millimeter sitting in the back where that back fan used to be. So not a big deal, it's easy to wire, and I guess I could make a video about it, but that goes to this USB plug-in right here. Just a basic phone charger. Again, that's all you need. Nothing crazy. Works just fine. Now, also, see? Dadgum, it already dropped again. Yeah, so that does really good wonders for the flow. And speaking of, if you don't, paludariums usually have an issue with, well, I don't know. Not going to speak for anybody else's, but for mine, I had an issue with, obviously, humidity building up. So it was fogging up this glass and fogging up both sides and just dripping everywhere, and it was just, it was like a rainforest. It was literally like you were in the middle of the Amazon. It's great until you want to go look at it and you can't see jack. So that one fan pulls through these vents down here at the bottom and pulls up, and voila, crystal clear. The only reason why it doesn't get crystal clear half the time and I get water droplets on here is because I got to figure out a way to diffuse this, because I thought this was going to be bigger from Amazon, and it wasn't. So now I need some bigger Zoomed style spider driftwood type deal that's obviously a lot larger to kind of poke up out of the water and push that somewhere else. And yeah, I know that looks like some calcium buildup, but again, it's fine. The API add-on that you do for a quick startup for the right amount of pH and bacteria and everything that you need. Plus I've had this for about 2 weeks before I even, what's up buddy? Before I even put my neon tetras and everything in there. Does a phenomenal job. And I know you can't really see it in this video, but this actually has a much dimmer, let's see if I can actually dim, yeah. It has a much dimmer look. That's more realistic to what it looks like. Also, it has a yellowish tint to it because of the tannins that are coming out of the driftwood, the Malaysian driftwood. Still, even after I boiled them, it kind of gives it like a yellowish look, but it's perfect because it's what I'm looking for the freshwater build. So, moving on to hurry up and finish this so I don't waste too much time. But the waterfall on the first video, if you didn't watch it, comes to a first little pool up here at the top that I carved in, a second slightly larger pool, and a third pool here at the bottom. And gravity obviously does the trick to provide the waterfall effect. But as you can tell, yeah, maybe. Anyway, it fills up, and sometimes it kind of splashes down the side, and it comes down the side, and fills up over here, and comes down the side. And then of course it fills up over here, comes down here, and there, and then over here. But because of that, it adds a, maybe I can get another drip. Yeah, water, rock face type of effect. And it's just beautiful. And there's a little piece of ivy that's still living because of the water. Who knows, that might actually sprout out too. You'd be amazed what plants can actually do when you just leave them alone. That core part is adhered with Loctite, expanding foam on both ends, and then sealed down the way with DAP, brown caulking. Use DAP, brown caulking. Do not use GE. I thought I was going to be special and use this more expensive stuff, and it turned out to be crap. And it did not adhere with the crap, and it did not spread with the crap, and it didn't even hold the Terrafauna very well. Versus the DAP, cheaper stuff, much cheaper by the way. It's like $4 for a bottle or some trash like that, versus like the 8 or 9 that I spent on the GE. So anyway, don't do that. Do the DAP. But I will say this is my first expanding foam build. I've never actually done my custom build before. Loctite expanding foam is fantastic. It's like $7.50 a can versus like $5 and some change for the big stuff. But it's much more dense. It adheres so much better. It's just thicker and it expands better and cuts better. This is better. Okay, I don't know how else to explain it to you. If you've never used it before and you do this stuff regularly, I highly recommend it. There it is right there. I actually did a 2-piece is what I did. Good Lord, what is that? Anyway, I did a two-piece. So I made like this whole front section and had some like fencing wire in there with it to kind of give it some structure or reinforcement. And of course I forgot my freaking wires, and so that's showing a little. It's, along with my, I try to be slick and use like a 1x6 with some wax paper to try to give like a way to run that up. And it did okay. But at the end of the day, man, next time I'm just going to spray the expanding foam in there. Maybe cut me a channel somehow, or like get like a really long drill bit or something. I don't know. I'll figure something out with the next one. But nonetheless, Loctite. I can't stress that enough. That stuff is amazing. That's all I will ever use the next time, if I do another one, which I probably will. Along with Zoom Ed, LED and UVB, Reptisun. Fantastic. Just, again, the selections of being able to turn off the red, turn on the blue and the red. The blue obviously for moonlight, so I use that at night so that it helps them with, like, how do I put it, like pretty much gets them more engaged with hunting and chasing their prey. And I'm going to be real honest with you, I do notice a difference between that and like just turning off my BioDude LED grow light that I have in my other Zilla. I noticed that with the Crested Gecko, Fred. Yeah, as you're staring at me because you're jealous because you don't have the same build yet. Don't look at me like that. Anyway, both of them show a noticeable difference with the moonlight. Now, of course, aquariums use this all the time, but the Reptisun Zoom Ed LED, you can get it with or without the UVB combo. Obviously, it's cheaper without. I think I paid for this 14-inch one about $85 for the combo, which is expensive, but it's worth it because it's UVB and a grow light all in one, plus the night light. So, yeah, I can't complain, man. I mean, obviously, I think it's like $60 for the 14-inch without the UVB, but the UVB just adds that much more, especially for my Crested Gecko. Believe it or not, you can see a good difference with their skin. I know they don't really require much maintenance or much lighting, much anything when you own a Crested, but any little bit helps as well. So, so far, man, that's my build. I want to do churros, and I want to do probably butchering that. Just laugh at me in the comments, but I want to do like show cabinets and old furniture with the etched glass and stuff, you know, the display cabinets that you see at your grandma's house. And I want to turn them into paludariums by taking a second layer of glass and like siliconing it, and just to having fun with it, really, and hiding the LEDs up inside so that you don't see them. You just see, well, you just see this, like a corner piece, and that'll be a good tall piece to put Fred in like that corner right there. And he could explore a lot more, give him some more land pieces to jump to and sit on and hunt from and stuff like that. Because day geckos, they're not very good swimmers. Crested geckos, the only reason why he's in here is because he's a good swimmer. Crested geckos can swim, and that little vine is there for him to crawl back up. And I was really hoping for some spiderwood, tall spiderwood, so that he can grab that as well to, you know, get himself out of the water, which again won't be a huge shock. It's 78 degrees in the water, so it's about 71, 72 outside, so it'd be warmer for him to jump in there. So all in all, I'm not worried. But yeah, man, watch the first video to see like a brief overview of how it, you know, the waterfall and everything works, and then that's my spiel on how I built it.